People who thrive on chaos can't stand how calm you are. They can't stand how you can walk away without looking back. I'll tell you why. Your detachment is your superpower, and it's shaking the foundations of their fragile little worlds. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll see exactly why your peace is their biggest problem. The first sign that your detachment is pissing people off is that they start to manipulate you in secret. Quiet, but deliberate attempt to pull you back into their web. It begins subtly, with passive-aggressive remarks, like "must be nice" to not care about anything. These comments aren't random. They're calculated. Jabs designed to make you second-guess the strength you've built by choosing peace over chaos. Their words drip with judgment, but their intent is desperation. They can't understand how you refuse to be baited into their drama, and it infuriates them when these remarks fail to shake you. They escalate. Next, they use gossip as a weapon to change how other people see you. They tell stories that turn your calmness into arrogance or your distance into coldness. Their goal isn't just to damage your character. They want to isolate you and create a version of you that fits with their insecurities. They hope that by getting other people involved in their story, they can force you back into a reactive state where you're open to their control. But the truth is that these efforts say more about how weak they are than they do about you. About you then comes the exclusion invitations, grow sparse, conversations shift when you're near, and suddenly you're on the outside looking in. But make no mistake, this isn't coincidence. They want you to feel out of place, to question the power of your detachment. They're testing your resolve, hoping the sting of isolation will force you to conform, yet the very act of excluding you reveals their fear you've become untouchable. Your detachment isn't just a choice, it's a mirror reflecting they can't control themselves, and that truth hurts them more than your indifference ever could. The second sign that your detachment is making people mad is that they keep trying to get you to react. When they can't do it with subtlety, they create chaos and drama out of nothing, hoping to pull you into the fray. These aren't random outbursts or misunderstandings. They are traps set up on purpose to break your calm and bring you back to a place where they can control you. They think they can control you. Their goal isn't resolution, but domination. Your refusal to engage in their storms only makes them more angry. They push boundaries inch by inch to see how far they can go before you crack. Their provocations are carefully planned to attack your principles, values, and even your identity. They'll create situations that seem urgent or personal, trying to force you to defend yourself or prove your worth. They want to see you flinch, to watch the stillness of your detachment crumble under their pressure. But what really makes them mad is that you won't bite. They get more and more desperate as they try to get you to react emotionally. When the small jabs don't work, they go bigger, louder, and more personal in an attempt to get you to react. What they don't realize is that every failed attempt only makes you more determined. They are trying to control something they can't even touch. Inner peace, and when their drama doesn't move you, it becomes clear to everyone, including them, that their power was never real. That truth, it terrifies them more than anything else. Drop a comment. I thrive in my detachment. If your peace shakes their chaos. The third sign that your detachment is pissing people off is the sudden flood of accusations and labels hurled in your direction. Cold heart, aloof, arrogant. These words aren't random. They're calculated attempts to discredit you, to paint your. They can't stand that you've taken back your power, so they twist your independence into something bad. They use these labels as shields and excuses for their own inability to accept that your refusal to engage isn't a flaw. but a choice based on strength. They throw these accusations because they need to frame your detachment as a problem or something wrong with you instead of admitting that it makes them uncomfortable to admit that their chaos is too much for their pride to handle, so they call you arrogant in an attempt to bring you down to their level. They want you to feel guilty for not joining their cycle of neediness and drama. They are not telling the truth. They are projecting their own insecurities onto you in the hope that you will carry the weight for them. What they don't realize is that these accusations only show their frustration. They can't reach you. When they call you aloof, they mean that they envy your ability to stay calm. Every label they throw at you is proof of your power. They know that your detachment is untouchable. That's why they lash out with words. They've already lost the fight to pull you back in. Yonov Ayar's story is one of defiance and unwavering purpose. Guided by her convictions, she stood firm against societal expectations, leading armies and challenging authority in a way that scared her enemies. Her refusal to submit or be swayed by mockery made people who couldn't understand or control her scared and angry. She became a target because her independence showed their weaknesses. Like Joan, your detachment is your strength. It scares those who rely on conformity to assert power, making you both a symbol of resistance and a force they can't ignore no matter how hard they try. It makes people uneasy because it goes against everything they depend on in a world that is addicted to reactions and validation. Your ability to stay calm is both threatening and magnetic. They hate it because it takes away their control, but they want it because deep down they know it's the kind of power they lack. Detachment is a mirror that shows them their insecurities and unspoken desires. It forces them to face the truth they've buried. They want the freedom you have, but they don't want to let go of the chains that hold them back. The first reason people hate detachment is that it shows how much they depend on others. Your emotional independence is a sharp contrast to the chaos they are tied to, and that contrast is impossible to ignore when you refuse to react. It shows how much they need others for validation, attention, or control. They resent you because your calmness forces them to face their own lack of self-control, but underneath that resentment is envy. They admire the strength it takes to detach, walk away, and live without being tied down. Others' expectations, yet their admiration comes laced with bitterness, because your detachment reveals the weaknesses they hide. This paradox of resentment and admiration fuels their frustration. They can't decide whether they want to tear you down or learn from you. They criticize your distance secretly, wish they could emulate it. Your ability to stay grounded without clinging to external approval is a threat to the fragile structures they've built their lives upon. Detachment isn't just a choice, it's a power, and that power, it terrifies those who haven't yet learned how to wield it for themselves. The second reason why people hate detachment is that it removes their power over you, leaving them exposed and frustrated. When you refuse to react, you disrupt the game. They've mastered manipulating emotions to control outcomes. They rely on your guilt, anger, or fear to bend you to their will. And when you withhold those reactions, their strategies crumble. Detachment is a shield. They cannot penetrate a silent declaration that their tactics have no hold on you. It's not just unsettling to them, it's infuriating. They hate that you've made yourself. Untouchable manipulators thrive on emotional chaos, pulling strings to see who will dance to their tune. But when you detach, you deny them the satisfaction of pulling you into their web. They'll test you, provoke you, hoping to spark the reaction that gives them leverage. Yet, your stillness, your refusal to engage, robs them of that power. They lash out with accusations, plead with guilt, or step up their efforts, but nothing works without your help. Their control is just an illusion. This loss of power is very personal for them because it shows them a truth they've been avoiding their whole lives. They were never in control of you to begin with. Detachment forces them to face their own need for other people's emotions to feel important. And while they may hate you for taking that power away, they also see the strength in it. Your ability to resist, they crave that same strength, even as they desp you for wielding it. Your detachment doesn't just protect you, it exposes them, leaving them powerless in the shadow of your emotional independence that, above all, is what they cannot stand. The third reason why people hate detachment is that it acts as a mirror reflecting their chaos, insecurities, and lack of control in stark clarity. Your calmness isn't just a neutral force, it's an unrelenting spotlight that reveals everything. When you don't get involved in their drama or validate their need for control, it forces them to face the instability they've buried under layers of noise. Your detachment doesn't just highlight their chaos, it makes it impossible to ignore. This creates a volatile mix of resentment and envy. They hate the discomfort your detachment brings, but they secretly crave the peace it represents. They want what you have, but getting it would mean facing the very things they've been avoiding about themselves. Truths they've spent their lives running from, so instead, they project their anger onto you, attempting to frame your calm as indifference or superiority. But the truth is, their frustration isn't with you, it's with themselves. Your detachment doesn't just protect your peace, it holds up a mirror to their inner chaos, and the reflection is something they can neither control nor escape. Friedrich Nietzsche once remarked the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. Your detachment is that struggle in action, a quiet rebellion against the collective emotional chaos that consumes those around you. They hate it because it forces them to confront their own entanglement, their inability to rise above the need for approval, control, or validation. Your calmness reveals their dependency, their fear of standing alone, and that reflection, it unnerves them. They sense in you a strength they long for, but lack the courage to claim for themselves. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine, move on. But if you've felt it deep inside, you'll know this is for you. Here's to the chosen ones, the ones who don't fit in, the ones who see beyond the veil, the ones who have been told to stay put, to settle down, to conform, but never could. They aren't interested in what's normal. They aren't here to follow someone else's rules. They are the light in the dark, the storm that shatters illusions, the unshakable, the unstoppable, the untouchable. While the world is busy, running in circles, they walk their own path alone if they have to, not for the applause or the approval, but because it's who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and turn it into something divine, the ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught but must be earned. If this speaks to you, it might be time to find your people. The Obsidian Inner Order is the only place of its kind, the #1 Ascension Nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share. Wisdom connects and changes things. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. Your detachment triggers deep emotional reactions in others because it feels like rejection to those who depend on external validation. Your independence isn't just a choice, it's a refusal to participate in the unspoken game of emotional dependency to those who measure their worth by the attention and reactions of others. Your calmness feels like abandonment. It forces them to face the unsettling truth is that their sense of self is tied to something they can't control. Your response. Your detachment says, without words, I don't need you to define me. And that message cuts deeper than they're willing to admit. Your calm demeanor exposes insecurities they've buried under noise and distraction. They project their fears onto you by calling you heartless, distant, or uncaring because they don't know how to make sense of someone who doesn't react the way they expect. They want you to conform to their expectations. When you don't validate their chaos by mirroring it back, their frustration turns inward, but they'll pretend it's anger directed at you. This sets off a chain reaction. Anger bubbles to the surface. They feel powerless because you're not engaging with them, and confusion follows as they can't understand how you've mastered the emotional clarity that eludes them. Projection takes over, with accusations meant to make you feel guilty for their discomfort. Your detachment makes them uneasy because they hate that they can't control you or themselves. What they hate most is also what they admire about you, your ability to stand apart, unshaken, and be a silent force that won't be manipulated. The truth is that they want the freedom you've claimed, but they are afraid of the work it will take to get it. In Greek mythology, Hestia, the goddess of the Heth, embodied peace and detachment, choosing a life free from the chaos of Mount Olympus, while other gods thrived on conflict, drama, and the pursuit of power. Hestia stayed true to her word and cared for the Heth, which stood for stability and balance. Her independence was both a strength and a source of frustration for those who couldn't understand why she wouldn't get involved in their rivalries. Her calmness made their turmoil stand out, and her choice to stay out of it left them confused. Hestia's story shows the quiet power of detachment in the midst of other people's storms. As Sunu writes in The Art of War, appear at points which the enemy must hasten to. March quickly to places where you are not expected. Your detachment is your greatest strategy because it allows you to stay unreadable and unshakable. When people can't predict your moves, they're left scrambling, reacting to shadows instead of reality. Your calm disrupts their need for control, and your refusal to engage on their terms keeps you steps ahead. Detachment isn't just peace, it's a tactical advantage that forces others to face their own chaos while you remain untouchable and firmly in charge. Controlled detachment gives you an undeniable edge that lets you focus with precision and get results that others can only dream of. Emotional independence clears your mind of clutter, freeing up the energy you would have wasted on overthinking, trying to please others, or reacting to their chaos. With that space, your creativity grows, your ideas become sharper, and your actions become deliberate. When you're not overwhelmed by emotional noise, you can prioritize what really matters. Making you unstoppable in your detachment changes how you connect with others. You no longer attract people who want to use your energy or control your emotions. Instead, you attract people who respect your boundaries, value your independence, and want to connect with you in a real way. Detachment doesn't mean you're closed off. It means you're no longer willing to give up your peace for relationships based on dependence or control. The connections you make are healthier, stronger, and more fulfilling. More fulfilling because they're based on respect instead of manipulation. When life throws stress and pressure your way, detachment becomes your best armor. You thrive where others fail because your emotional clarity lets you face challenges with calmness and strategy. Detachment doesn't make you indifferent, it makes you strong. You can assess situations without getting overwhelmed, act decisively without hesitation, and adapt when things change, while others drown in the. When you detach from stress, you rise above it, untethered and focused. Detachment isn't just a tool, it's a superpower that boosts your productivity, strengthens your relationships, and gives you strength in the face of life's most intense moments. Atticus Finch, from To Kill a Mockingbird, embodies the power of calm. When faced with hatred, prejudice, and hostility, he stays calm and refuses to be swayed by the chaos around him. His focus on justice and truth allows him to act with clarity and purpose, even when others are. Atticus doesn't react impulsively to insults or threats. Instead, he channels his energy into what really matters, doing what is right. This detachment doesn't mean he doesn't care. It shows a deep inner strength that keeps him grounded in the middle of chaos. Like Atticus, your detachment is not weakness. It is a shield that lets you navigate life's storms with unshakable resolve. It gives you the power to see clearly through noise, rise above emotional manipulation, and stay focused. Your calm presence highlights your strength and unsettles those who rely on control and chaos. Detachment acts as a catalyst for growth, not just for you, but for everyone around you. Your refusal to engage in toxicity is a mirror they can't ignore, forcing them to confront the behaviors they've been avoiding. When you don't react, they are left alone with their actions, and that silence speaks louder than any words. Argument. It challenges them to question their patterns, to see how much of their energy has been spent trying to control or manipulate others. While your detachment may initially trigger resentment, it plants the seeds of self-awareness, making them reflect in ways they never anticipated. Breaking generational patterns requires the courage to detach from toxic cycles, and your detachment does just that by refusing to repeat the dysfunction. You've seen you set a new standard for emotional health and boundaries, whether it's about stepping away from harmful communication or refusing to take on responsibilities that aren't yours. Your actions create ripples that challenge others to recognize the cycles they've been perpetuating. Some may resist clinging to old habits, but others will notice and be inspired to do the work of breaking free themselves. Your detachment encourages self-awareness, even if it's met with initial hostility. People resent what they don't understand, and your calm independence feels threatening to those who rely on outside validation or control. But over time, your example becomes undeniable proof that growth is possible. You show that peace isn't found in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. Your boundaries become an invitation for others to examine their own. Detachment isn't just a shield, it's a catalyst for change, making room for reflection, change, and the breaking of cycles that have gone unchallenged for far too long. As Anais Nin wrote, we see things as they are. And your detachment holds up a mirror that they can't look away from. It forces them to face who they really are. When you don't get involved in their drama or validate their need for control, it takes away the things they use to avoid self-examination. They project their insecurities onto you, not because of who you are, but because of what you show them about themselves. Your calm independence disrupts their illusions and makes them face the parts of themselves they don't want to see. Sherlock Holmes is a famous example of how detachment can help you stay focused and clear-headed in a chaotic world. He was able to observe, assess, and act with precision, which set him apart from others. Like Holmes, your detachment can help you not only survive, but also thrive. It lets you step back from the noise and keep your clarity and purpose, while those around you get swept away by their emotions. Presence not only gives you power, but it also challenges the chaotic energy of others, making your focus an undeniable force in a drama-fueled world. Detachment isn't indifference, it's mastery. You can balance independence with empathy, staying connected to others, while protecting your inner peace. This means realizing that you don't have to absorb the chaos of those around you to care. True detachment is keeping your boundaries without shutting yourself off. It's about staying grounded in who you are, while engaging with others on your terms, not theirs. In everyday life, detachment starts with recognizing and neutralizing emotional hooks. Manipulators often rely on guilt-tripping flattery or provocation to force you into reactive states. But when you identify these tactics for what they are, you strip them of their power. Respond calmly, instead of reacting impulsively. A simple pause, choosing stillness over instant engagement, can shift the dynamic entirely, leaving those who thrive on drama disarmed. And to thrive in a world full of drama, you need to put peace and purpose ahead of distraction. While others get lost in chaos, you stay focused, calm, and clear. Detachment isn't about avoiding life. It's about engaging with it on a higher level. Like Holmes, you master the art of observation and action, thriving where others fail. Eleanor Roosevelt famously said that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Your detachment makes sure that your consent and power stay with you. When faced with hostility, respond with grace. Refusing to engage emotionally is not weakness, it's strength. Each time you stay calm, you show that you have mastery over your energy and that their attempts to provoke you are pointless. Your stillness speaks louder than words ever could. It's a reminder that you can't be moved by chaos. Knowing when to engage and when to walk away is the key to keeping this power. Not every battle is worth your time or energy. Choose wisely, and when the noise gets too loud, step back. Walking away isn't giving up, it's protecting yourself. It's a statement that your peace is more important than their opinions. Hate isn't about you, it's about their own problems. They lash out because your strength shows them what they lack. By staying grounded, you free yourself from their storm. Detachment isn't just a defense, it's liberation. It keeps your worth untouchable. You have power in your hands. Your detachment is not a flaw. It is your unyielding strength, a force that radiates clarity and self-mastery in a world that desperately needs control. Your ability to stay centered reveals truths that others would rather avoid. You are not tethered to the chaos around you, which makes you powerful beyond measure. When others project their insecurities onto you, let their frustration be a reminder that your independence is unsettling to those who rely on manipulation or validation for their sense of worth. Their problems are not your responsibility. Your Cal presence is an anchor and proof of the strength you've built. Detachment doesn't mean you've stopped caring. It means you've chosen peace over performance and purpose over pleasing. When the noise of the world tries to shake you, stay rooted in your truth. Your ability to thrive in stillness is not just a rebellion, it's an evolution. It shows what is possible when you refuse to be moved by the chaos of others now. It's your moment to speak your truth. Tell others about your experiences with detachment and how it has made you stronger. Let your tale inspire others to embrace their power and break free from the storm's hold.